Morning sa lahat, lalong-lalo na sa ating mga mag-aaral. Bago ko po simulan yung tutorial class ko, mangangamusta muna ako tungkol sa learnings ninyo noong nakaraang quarter or sa first quarter. So alam kong nahihirapan po kayo sa pagsagot sa mga modules, lalong-lalo na sa aking subject na English. So I intended to have this tutorial class para po maliwanagan po kayo sa nahihirapang MELC or Most Essential Learning Competency sa English 7, especially tungkol sa active voice at saka passive voice. So, as you have noticed, hindi po ako mag-i-English ngayon. So, what I'm going to do for the purpose of intervention, because I found out that the least mastered skills for the first quarter was on the active voice and passive voice. So, mga mag-aaral, so sisimulan natin linawin yung isa sa mga napakahirap na lesson sa first quarter. Yun ay ang tungkol sa active voice at passive voice. Okay, mag-aaral, handa na ba kayo sa ating lesson tungkol sa active voice at passive voice? So marami kayong matutunan sa tutorial ko ngayon kasi hindi po ako mag-i-English. Gaya ng sinabi ko, i-highlight ko po ang pinaka-importanting konsepto na dapat ninyong malaman tungkol or matutunan tungkol sa active voice at passive voice. Unang kasanayan ay dapat ninyong alamin kung ano ang structure ng active voice at saka passive voice para madali ninyong ma-identify kung ang voice ng sentence ay active ba or passive. So, unang gagawin natin is unawain muna natin kung ano ang kahulugan ng active voice at saka passive voice para madaling i-identify natin kung ang structure ba or voice ng sentence ay active or passive. Okay. So, here is the meaning of the active voice. So when can we say that the voice of the sentence is an active voice? Okay, let us read. And I'm going to translate this in Filipino para malinaw talaga, no? Sige. So here, active voice. So the voice of the sentence is active when the subject in the sentence is the doer. Meaning to say, siya ang tagaganap. Doer of the action in that sentence. And if we are going to read the sentence, if it is active voice, so the subject usually appears at the beginning of the sentence. So here are the following examples. Okay, read, Arthur buys a new laptop. If we are going to analyze the sentence, the voice is active because our subject here is Arthur. So si Arthur ang siyang doer or tagaganap ng action sa sentence. Siya ang sasagot sa tanong na sino ang nag-buy ng new laptop? Si Arthur. So our subject here, which is Arthur, is the doer of the action in that sentence. And as it says, the subject Arthur usually appears at the beginning of the sentence. So yan ang tandaan natin sa active voice, no? Ang ating subject, siya ang tagaganap ng kilos sa pangungusap at siya ay makikita kadalasan sa unang bahagi ng pangungusap. Okay, kung hindi pa maliwanag ang active voice, tungkol sa active voice, so mayroon pang pangalawang sentence. Okay, let us read. Anna brings a bouquet of flowers. So again, this is an active voice because our subject, Anna, is the doer of the action in that sentence, brings a bouquet of flowers. And it answers to the question, who brings a bouquet of flowers? So the answer is Anna. Again, it is active voice sentence because our subject, Anna, which is the doer of the action in that sentence, located or appears at the beginning of the sentence. Okay, so last example, para maliwanag, no? Still an active voice. So let us read. She baked a 3-layered cake. So this is an active voice sentence because our subject is she, the doer of the action in that sentence, who baked a 3-layered cake. So the answer is she, and it usually appears at the beginning of the sentence. So that is the active voice. So again, kapag ang simuno or subject in the sentence, siya ang doer or tagaganap ng kilos sa pangungusap, ang voice ng sentence po ay active. At kadalasan ang subject, the doer, usually appears at the beginning of the sentence. Okay, liwanag na. So let's proceed to the passive voice. So if we are going to understand passive voice, let us read the meaning. Here, passive voice, when the subject in the sentence becomes the receiver of the action. Siya ang tagatanggap ng kilos sa pangungusap. So in other words, where will be our subject in the sentence? So it is usually introduced with a preposition by, followed by the subject that acts as the receiver of the action. Since our subject in the passive voice is the receiver of the action, so usually saan siya makikita? At the beginning or at the last part of the sentence. So it should be at the last part. So our subject is located at the last part of the sentence. Okay, let us take a look for the following examples. Okay, let us read. A new laptop is bought by Arthur. So this is an example of passive voice. If we are going to compare from the previous sentence on the active voice, Arthur buys a new laptop and it becomes a passive voice. You have noticed that a new laptop, which is the direct object in the sentence, and then we have is bought by Arthur, and Arthur is our subject, is no longer located at the beginning of the sentence. Why? Because your Arthur in this sentence, since this is passive voice, will act as the receiver of the action. And it is very easy to identify if your subject, the voice of the sentence, is a passive voice because your subject is located at the last part of the sentence. Okay, so another example for the passive voice. A bouquet of flowers is brought by Anna. So our subject acts as the receiver. Anna is located at the last part of the sentence. Another example for the passive voice. A 3-layered cake was baked by her. Okay, so our subject here is her. Now, in our next tutorial video, we will find out how to write active voice sentence to passive voice. And there are a lot of changes that you are going to notice. So you have to be careful of the changes as we go on further for the next video. How to rewrite active voice sentence to passive voice. Okay, take a look. So for an advanced learning, she is our subject here in the active voice. So what happened to the she? It becomes her. So this is one of the changes that you are going to what we call this, you are going to be careful, no? In writing active voice to passive voice. Your she here, the subject, becomes her. Okay, so that is for the passive voice. Again, your subject is located at the last part of the sentence, and the most salient part of the passive voice is the preposition by. So technically, basically, if we are going to identify active voice from passive voice, if the sentence has a preposition by, it will give you a clue that your subject is located at the last part of the sentence and acts as the receiver of the action. Therefore, your sentence is, the voice of the sentence is passive voice. So let us make it short. So again, if it is active voice, the subject of the sentence is the doer, and it is usually located at the beginning of the sentence. If it is passive, the subject becomes the receiver of the action. Therefore, the subject is located at the last part of the sentence, and the most distinguishing point of passive voice is the preposition by. Okay, is that clear? So if that is clear, let us have an examples, or let us answer the following quiz. So all you have to do is to identify if the sentence is active or passive. Okay, let us try to find out if you have learned something on how to identify active voice and passive voice. Okay, the hints. So if the sentence is an active, the subject is the doer of the action and usually appears at the beginning of the sentence. And if it is passive voice, the subject becomes the receiver of the action, and the subject is usually located at the last part of the sentence. And the most important or salient point for the passive voice is the preposition by. Okay, here, let's try. So, tell me if each sentence is an active or passive. Okay, let's have sentence number 1. A summative test was conducted by Sir Jerry. Active or passive? So the answer is, very good, passive. Our subject is Sir Jerry that acts as the receiver of the action and located at the last part of the sentence, and of course because of the preposition by. Okay, number 2. He builds a sand castle. What is the voice of the sentence? Okay, very good. The answer is active. Because our subject is he that acts as the doer of the action in the sentence and located or appears at the beginning of the sentence. So active. What about for number 3? Go. She dances gracefully. So our subject is she. So therefore, located at the beginning of the sentence and act as the doer of the action in that sentence. So the voice of the sentence is, yes, the answer is active. Next, for number 4, the sun rises at the east. So our subject is the sun, located at the beginning of the sentence and the doer of the action. So therefore, the voice is, yes, active. And for number 5, okay, read. Mother prepares a Spanish cuisine. So what is the voice of the sentence? Yes, our subject is mother, located at the beginning of the sentence and acts as the doer of the action in that sentence. Therefore, the answer is yes, still active. What about for number 6? So we have Peter wrote a romantic poem. So what is the voice of the sentence? Yes, the subject is Peter, located at the beginning of the sentence and acts as the doer of the action. Therefore, the voice is still active. Okay, so only number 1 is the passive voice. So again, passive voice is introduced by the preposition by and the subject is located at the last part of the sentence. Now the question is, since our next topic is how to write active voice sentence to passive voice, the question is, are all active voice sentences can be rewritten to passive voice? Okay, let us have an example for number 2 and number 6. So those are active voice sentence and we are going to rewrite that to passive voice. Okay, again the question is, are all active voice sentences can be rewritten to passive voice? Okay, let us have an example. He builds a sand castle. Can we rewrite this sentence to this active voice sentence to passive voice? Yes or no? Okay, the answer is yes. What about sentence number 3? Sentence number 3, the active voice sentence number 3. She dances gracefully. Can we rewrite this sentence, this active voice sentence to passive voice? So the answer is no. Oh, be careful. What about for number 4? The sun rises at the east. Can we rewrite that one, that active voice sentence to passive? Still the answer is no. What about for number 5? Mother prepares a Spanish cuisine. Can we rewrite this active voice sentence to passive? The answer is yes. What about for number 6? Peter wrote a romantic poem. Can we rewrite this active voice to passive voice? The answer is yes. Okay, now why is it that sentence number 2 and sentence number 5 and number 6 can be rewritten to passive voice? And why is it that sentences number 3 and 4 cannot be rewritten to passive voice? Okay, so that is our next vlog when we are going to learn about how to rewrite active voice sentences to passive voice. But I'll give you a clue in advance. Okay, now, sentence number 2, number 5, and number 6 can be rewritten to passive voice because of its structure. So if we are going to notice, so the structure for sentence number 2, the subject is he, the verb is build, and we have the direct object, which is a sand castle. So, in other words, we can only rewrite active voice sentence if the sentence pattern is subject with a transitive verb and then with a direct object. What about for sentence number 3? Why we cannot rewrite this one into passive voice? Okay, she dances gracefully. This is our subject, this is our verb, and this is our phrase, which is the adverbial phrase. So this is our subject, this is our verb, which is intransitive verb. This one is a transitive verb. So therefore, kung transitive verb siya, naa siya'y direct object. Kana ang pwede nato nga ma-rewrite to passive voice. Kani, dili siya pwede ma-rewrite to passive voice. Subject, verb, and a phrase. Take note, if your verb here is an intransitive verb, it usually follows by a phrase, either prepositional phrase or adverbial phrase, and that cannot be rewritten to passive voice. Okay, what about for number 4? The same case, no? Dili siya pwede ma-rewrite. We have the subject, the sun, and the verb, which is intransitive verb, and followed by prepositional phrase at the is. So, dili siya pwede ma-rewrite to passive voice. What about for number 5? Since this can be rewritten to passive voice. So, our subject is mother. Our verb is prefers, which is a transitive verb, and followed by the direct object. Also with number 6, our subject is better, and our verb is wrote, which is a transitive verb, and our object, which is a direct object. So in other words, if we are going to compare sentences number 2, 5, and 6 with sentences number 3 and 4, it is very important to analyze our sentence structure. So what sentence structure can only be rewritten to passive voice? Okay, only the sentence structure which has a subject and a transitive verb followed by direct object can be rewritten to passive voice. So kana siya nga sentence ra nga active voice sentence nga naayong ani nga structure or sentence pattern ang pwede nato nga ma-rewrite to passive voice. Dili ta ng active voice pwede nato ma-rewrite to passive voice. Again, the only sentence pattern or structure passive voice sentence that can be rewritten to passive voice is this having a sentence pattern or structure. Subject followed by a transitive verb and followed by a direct object. Understood? So, I hope it is clear to you on how to identify active voice sentence and passive voice sentence, because for the next lesson, we are going to have writing skills. So you will be given an active voice sentence and you are going to rewrite that one to passive voice. So see you on the next video. So if you have learned something on this video tutorial, you can comment down, or you can like my YouTube channel, or you can subscribe. Or you can also, as your comments, you can also add on some important knowledge and the simplified form on how to understand active voice and passive voice. See you on the next video for how to rewrite active voice sentence to passive voice. Thank you.